Yeah, look, it was probably the most scariest day of my life. I classify myself as a pretty strong person, but this was out of control. Phone call, 2:30 a.m. My bedroom window is at the back of my house. I looked out that and all I could see was red. So reality hit. I was up, my 9-year-old daughter was up, my partner was up, and we were down at the fire. The police actually came to my mother's house at the front of the farm and told them that they had to evacuate now. So that was pretty tough because my little girl had been up since 2:30. She hadn't seen her mum and her dad. She was pretty emotional. My partner Joel, he was amazing. Like, he was not leaving this farm, right or wrong. Between him, a couple of staff members, and my maintenance man, they were here till the end. The wind changed. It had swung right around and it was coming behind this hill and coming at the other end. So virtually we had them coming in at both ends of our farm. So then panic stations hit. I rang 000 4 times within 20 minutes, no response. We tried to fight the fire off. There's quite a big span here from our track to where our horse paddocks start, and we tried our hardest to stop that grass fire going, but the winds were too strong. In that meantime, we did have some mares and foals of ours in these back paddocks here that I was watching whilst the embers were going into their paddocks and catching their paddocks alight. Those mares and foals were jumping virtually through some of those flames and into the burn area. Those horses were so relaxed and so contained while we all got together, had a meeting at the stables to then start evacuating the horses. It was amazing, it was amazing. Look, the mares, they were a little bit stressed, but their foals were just beside those mares. They just pelled up, you know, some of these foals are nearly ready to wean, and they just pelled up with their mothers and they just went to these burn areas where the girls were feeding them, and they just put their heads down and they just ate. When we came back out here, most of these fences were on the ground and these mares were just standing, eating their lucerne hay. It was amazing. We walked up to those mares, we put their head collar on and we carted them straight back to the stables. Put them straight on those trucks. Some of these trucks that rocked up, I didn't even know they were coming. You know, they were lined up to our letterbox, which was probably 200 metres of just truck after truck. And even when we got our last horse on, you know, there was probably 3 or 4 trucks after that, which just went and helped other farms.
So how many horses did you have to evacuate?
I think there was about 130.
When you were in the middle of all of this, what was your mindset?
I don't even really know, to be honest. It was just keep cool, keep talking to people, keep people rolling along, give them jobs, keep busy, because when you're busy, you're not thinking about other things.
As bad as the damage and devastation the fire has caused Leneva Park is, it could have been so much worse. If it had moved just a few more metres in this direction and reached this shed, who knows what could have happened.
God, it would have been a couple of mushroom clouds if those things went up, because they were chock-a-block full of fuel, and God knows how bad it would have been if those went up. From a business point of view, from the 9th of January when the fires hit, business ended for us. As soon as those horses left the property, looking at it through a business lens, and obviously you've got people and animals first in front of your mind, but once things settle down, you think, okay, what's the impact? Basically total loss of paddocks. We lost about 25 kilometres of internal fencing, as well as all your boundary fencing. So the internal stuff you can put aside for a while and operate with a couple of holding yards and whatever else you can repair yourselves. But you can't operate a horse property without boundary fencing, because obviously if the horse gets out, it's out. The track was completely obliterated. We run a rubber crumb surface here. We had to sift that all out, replace it with new track. Racing Victoria's grant program was absolutely critical in that process. And the Melbourne Racing Club are on the front foot straight away. We're the beneficiary of the old Caulfield training tracks, and that's what we're reinstating here at the moment.
It's about rebuilding. So yeah, the last 2 weeks have been probably the worst for me, because unfortunately we couldn't afford to pay all our staff. We had to stand, I think there was about 22 staff down. Those staff are like my family. They love this farm and they never want to leave. Well, at the moment, we've probably got about 20 sort of Leneva horses and ponies back here. Just this week we've started off with some water walkers and some treadmill horses from some really good trainers that have supported us right through.
And that's the message, isn't it?
Yep.
Leneva Park is up, open,
yep,
and ready to run.
Ready to run, yep. You know, we mightn't have any fences for spellers, but our staff are keen to get out and work.